Hey everybody, and welcome back to Split Couch Games. I'm Scott,
And I'm Ben.
and this is our 21st podcast.
Woo!
Thank you guys for joining us for this episode, and we're gonna jump right into it with another question from Viper the Red. He asked us if we'll be talking about Bethesda and the Pray for the Gods game kind of controversy. I don't know if there's really a controversy with it, because I don't think anyone's really that upset with any of the parties involved.
Well, I mean,
It's mostly the law.
Yeah, well, I think the controversy is that it's stupid, but
Yeah.
it makes
So
sense.
anyway, so for anyone who doesn't know what's happening, Bethesda just launched a reboot of the Prey franchise. I think it's a reboot, right? Not a sequel or anything.
Yeah, it is a reboot. Yeah.
And another studio that I can't remember the name of right now. Ben was gonna look that up for me right now, and
I am apparently okay.
they're making a game called Pray for the Gods, and Bethesda challenged the copyright based off of the name Prey.
Yeah, No Matter
At the beginning.
Studios.
No Matter Studios, that's right. And so No Matter Studios was like, hey, we're applying for a copyright, and then Bethesda, because of the way the law works, had to go and challenge it, because if they don't, they run the risk of losing the copyright for Prey, their game. And so it's a couple things to keep in mind.
If that's completely accurate, but I mean, it's basically the gist of it.
Yeah,
Because I feel like they had it copywritten, but then Bethesda came in and was like, wait, no, we had this first, and it's too similar. So then they were like, okay, how about if we spell Prey with an A before the E? So
yeah, so it's basically, it's a couple things to know is that Bethesda did not send a cease and desist. They did not they're not being aggressive about it. They're not trying to shut down the game's development or anything like that.
And they even let them keep the logo that has the normal spelling. So
yeah, everyone was super amicable about it. The only reason why the name was changed at all was that the smaller studio didn't have the legal resources, or the resources to pay for legal.
Yeah, and I don't think they really cared enough.
I feel like it's a small thing.
Yeah, they were like, I mean, this sucks, but realistically, it's not worth it.
Yeah, and I think that for the most part, it's actually probably the best thing for them, because it's just free marketing.
Oh,
Bethesda's basically just giving it's yeah, I mean,
yeah, because I mean, for those of you who don't know, Pray for the Gods is a Kickstarter game that recently went through its Kickstarter, made its goal, all that kind of stuff. It was trying for just 300,000, made a little over $500,000. And that studio
Congratulations
is
to them.
local, so that's cool. They're in Kirkland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
But
shout out to Kirkland, Washington.
Yeah. The game, Pray for the Gods, is it's a game very similar to Shadow of the Colossus, which is kind of a cult classic. A lot of people love it, and so it had probably a very niche fan base, and this just kind of gets the word out more. So it's probably more beneficial to them to have that exposure, but to also resolve it quickly with as little financial impact as possible.
Yeah. And for their part, I forget who I did the research for this a week ago when Viper first asked the question, because I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And then I went and looked at it. And I forgot to go back and check it out again. But one of Bethesda's higher ups, I think maybe the studio head or what have you, came out and said that they regret that they had to do it, but I imagine that it was really their lawyers, because they probably Bethesda's big enough to just have a law team on the lookout for this sort of stuff, and they probably don't even consult with anyone, because they have to be impartial, and developers are probably going to say something like, oh, I don't think that this is worth going after, but lawyers have to look out for the best interest of the company.
Yeah.
So,
'cause, I mean, like we've talked about before, copyright and everything is kind of one of those weird things where if you don't defend like every facet of it, then you know, it can get messy if someone does actually infringe. So
yeah. So I mean, it's like it's because I think that Ben and I we agree pretty much that like it's silly that it had to happen. We don't blame Bethesda. We don't blame No Matter Studios if there was anything to blame them for.
Yeah,
like they just made they made a cool title. Like the title is cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an incredibly stupid issue. Like it's super crappy that it happened, but like you can't really fault Bethesda because they're doing what they have to in order to protect their IP and everything. And until copyright laws and everything are updated for the 21st century,
what
you know,
updated copyright laws?
Yeah, who would have thunk it, right? But yeah, until that happens, things like this are going to happen continuously, which sucks, but it's, you know, kind of something that just, there's nothing we can do about it. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that basically sums up our thoughts. The law has to change eventually, but I don't think anyone who's currently in a position to change the law actually cares.
Yeah, probably not.
I think it's one of those things that eventually our generation will grow up and become the politicians, and then we'll probably see something.
Yeah. I mean, it's either that or there's going to be like some huge debate over something at some point, and
ends up in the
Supreme Court, and then they're like, that's when it, you know, changes and everything. But
yeah,
you know,
but yeah, until then,
yeah. Moving on to other topics, though.
All right.
I know that you are a fan of Hearthstone. We even have a couple videos of you playing Hearthstone on the channel and everything.
Those were super amazing. You guys should totally check them out.
There was like the one clip or whatever that you ended up posting to Reddit that got like 1,000 views or something. I don't know.
I think it's at like 900 views now.
Oh, yeah.
That was the funniest thing ever. And I'm like, and I was so bad at being on camera because I just like sat there and just like let it, like I was like, I don't. What?
Yeah,
I can't believe that just happened.
That was a while ago, like back when we were still kind of like baby channel, you know, before we hit our 1 year mark, and
that was like 6 months in.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
man.
I mean, like we're not exactly an old channel right now as it is, but I feel like we've definitely
and it was like
grown
the first
a lot.
And I was like, I was testing out webcam stuff.
Yeah,
to like get that working.
Yeah, your setup and everything. Yeah.
Actually, like if you like really like pay attention to the borders, like I had like the screen capture off a little bit and everything.
Good job, Scott.
But yeah. Anyway.
But no. Anyways, so I know you care about Hearthstone a little bit. So apparently it was recently announced that the spring finals are going to be held in Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that.
Yeah. So the way that Hearthstone works, and it's kind of always worked since the beginning, is that they're trying to make it a very social experience for these tournaments. So there's always tournaments in like local places, local restaurants and everything. So like the fact that Buffalo Wild Wings is included in that is kind of strange because it is a much more loud environment than most of the other places.
Yeah.
As for like the distraction, because I know that a lot of players are complaining about the distractions, and it's one of those things where like I completely understand that, but at the same time, like they're going to have soundproof headphones and all of that. Like it's a fair environment for everyone, and like at a certain point, like you're gonna end up going on stage in front of thousands of people if you get to the end. So I don't think that the distractions are going to be any more ridiculous
or anything. Yeah.
And because I mean, like, but like I do understand. Like I get it, but at the same time, I'm not that concerned about it. It's, and I'm sure that there's going to be rules about how the spectators are going to participate. Like they're not going to be able to like throw things at the competitors or. Anything like that.
That's not fair. I want to be able to throw stuff at my least favorite Hearthstone pro.
Yeah? Who is your least favorite Hearthstone pro, Ben?
Trump. I don't like him.
Oh, okay. Is that the only one you know?
I wasn't even sure if he played Hearthstone or not. I couldn't remember if he was Hearthstone or Gears.
He is Hearthstone.
Okay.
He's
also
he's probably competing.
Gwent. He plays Gwent. Because there's some Gwent tournaments going on or something like that, and assuming it's the same Trump.
I mean, I would assume it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays a bunch of different card games. Like, that's
Yeah.
just kind of what he's known for. Any new one that comes out, he gives it a shot. And
Yeah.
But, like, everyone's like, no, play Hearthstone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's honestly just a non-issue. Like, it's a little weird that it's a sports bar. And it's also kind of cool that it's a sports bar where, like, you know, Buffalo Wild Wings, there's always a sports game, like a baseball game, football game, basketball game, hockey. And now there's going to be Hearthstone being played at. So anything that, like, helps bring competitive esports to the mainstream, I think is a good thing.
So, question about all of this then.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel differently if it was League of Legends? Or something that might take a little more concentration? Not that like Hearthstone doesn't require concentration, but I feel like the turn-based nature and also like the fact that you have time to sit there and think.
Yeah,
I feel like
I think
helps.
honestly, it kind of depends on the quality of the audio, because League of Legends is all about communication. So as long as if there was no impact from the venue in terms of communicating, I think it's actually better that way, because it's all because it's all more split second. Like, I feel like Hearthstone, like, a more adequate example would be like, because I play in chess tournaments. If I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and tried to play chess, I would not be playing my best chess game.
Sure.
But granted, like, I don't have like soundproof headsets or anything like that, so it's still different. And I'm just thinking, like, maybe like a more apt example is a Gears tournament from back in the day, where they would take place in like tiny arcades basically, and you would just have crowds surrounding everyone, like right next to them, like basically like right behind you. You would have someone yelling and like cheering for you, or like yelling disparaging remarks.
Yeah.
And you'd be like face to face with your opponent, so in between rounds you would stand up and start yelling at them. It's one of those things where, like, it really depends on how it's set up, I think, because like, obviously, like, I would hope that like there's sort of a section of the restaurant dedicated to it, so that like other like spectators aren't like right next to them.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's definitely distracting. Like, anytime, like, I don't, like, if you're doing anything and someone's right behind you, it's distracting, and you're like, okay, like, I'm focusing on like a little bit of brain power, making sure that that guy's not going to kill me, or something like that. Yeah. Again, as long as it's done right, and I'm sure that Blizzard and Buffalo Wild Wings are all part of that, or are all working on making sure that it's all gonna be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Do you have any thoughts, or?
Not really. I mean, the little bit that I've played Hearthstone over the years has never really been a good experience for me, so I'm not too fond of the game. Like, even most recently, like when I tried to get back into it and everything, I had fun for maybe a week or two, and then I felt like I was having the same problem that I always did, which is that it ends up being too much of a, I don't know, like you have an ideal build type of thing, and I know that's like kind of the point, but I always hate when a game, through mechanics, it basically forces you to use a certain build of anything.
Sure.
You know, like whether it's, you know, Gears of War or like, you know, even in Overwatch, like I hate it when people say that like you essentially have to play meta team comps in order to win. Like I hate that. And maybe it's just because like I don't like being with the in crowd, if you will. I don't know, but it just has always bothered me.
First.
Well, it's not even that as much as it is that like I feel like I should be able to do what I want to do and still have a fair chance.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't be forced to play a certain way in any game,
Yeah.
which is pretty much, an impossible thing to design for, but
Yeah.
that's,
I see
whatever.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Also, so on this topic, I was looking at the list of other places that the tournaments are going to be. The Hearthstone Spring Playoff for Seattle is actually going to be at the GameWorks that we went to that one time.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so like they do have that esports area. But like, is it really going to be that much worse being at a Buffalo Wild Wings? Is sort of what I'm asking, right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I haven't been in a Buffalo Wild Wings in years, so
Well,
for
I've
all I
never
know, I mean,
But yeah, I mean, there's just like
Last
a
time I was
GameWorks
in
is
one-
a distracting place. Is all I'm getting. At.
sure. But I mean, like you said, they have like an area set up specifically for, like PC gaming and tournaments and all that kind of stuff that they can close off to the rest of the,
Sure.
establishment.
Yeah.
And any of the Buffalo Wild Wings that I've been in don't have anything like that. Like, they didn't even have like private dining booths that you could reserve or anything like that. It was literally just kind of like an open floor plan kind of restaurant with a bar. And that
I'm just
kind
kind
of
of like I just imagining Ben sitting down to watch a football game at a Buffalo Wild Wings right now. It's a weird sight.
thing. Yeah. And who do you imagine I'm rooting for in this weird
clearly,
fantasy land that you're imagining?
You're not so much you're not a fan of a particular team. You're just a fan of the sport. So like
Oh.
you just are like, yeah, that's a
So-
great play. Like any time that there's a good game on, you're happy, as long as
So-
if it's close.
So I'm the guy wearing the T-shirt that just says "sports" with an exclamation mark.
Yeah. Shout out to Philip DeFranco. Am I right?
Right? Yeah.
Anyway.
I've been so tempted to buy that shirt every time he has.
I
it
know.
for
I've
sale.
been tempted. I've been tempted to buy it for you. Anyway,
Oh, man.
so that's our thoughts on the Hearthstone and Buffalo Wild Wings. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments if you've been here. Specifically, you, Viper the Red. Shout out to you for always watching our podcast.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's nice to know that we have somebody that regularly stops by and listens to our stupidity.
It warms our heart.
Yeah.
It really does. Anyway, moving on. Ben brought it to my attention something that is kind of near and dear to my heart.
It's super depressing.
Oh my god, so depressing. But Alan Wake on did you say the 15th?
Yeah, the 15th. So
the
Tuesday.
day that this comes out.
No, day after.
The date.
Wait.
Wait, it's the 13th
yeah,
today.
Yeah. So the day this
I'm
comes
like-
out. So today.
So today,
Um,
buy it. Alan Wake will no longer be sold because of the music license for the game expiring.
Yeah. The makers, I apparently
Remedy.
Remedy licensed out some of the music, and that license is expiring. And I'm assuming they probably just opted to not renew it or anything, because why bother on a game that's that old and
Yeah.
isn't necessarily held in like super high regard. Like,
no. Okay,
I feel like
so-
the people that have played it really enjoyed it, but not very
Yeah.
many people played it.
Sure. Yeah. I think that I think it's a great game. I think it even got like good reviews, not like amazing reviews,
Yeah.
but
I
it also
think
came out in a time where Call of Duty was the most popular. Like,
Yeah, and it
overpopulating
also
everything.
it also fell into that like a kind of pitfall of it was announced when the Xbox 360 was announced, and it was like advertised as like going to be this super beautiful game, and then
wait,
it
was
came
it
out-
that old?
Oh yeah, they had teaser trailers at the E3 before the 360 came out,
What?
and then it didn't come
guess,
out
yeah, it would be that
until
old.
2007 or something 2010. It came out in 2010. So it came out like 4 years after.
No.
its
It
first
came out
announced
before
trailer.
2010, didn't it?
No, I'm fairly certain it came out in 2010. I will look it up, but
Well, so because I got it when my Xbox Red Ring for the second time, which was my sophomore year of college, and I bought a Xbox Elite, and it came with Alan Wake, and I'm like, what the fuck is this game? I don't care about this game. And then just one weekend I got really bored and I played it and I'm like, oh,
And you're like, oh my god, this is amazing.
it might have been one of my favorite. It's actually, yeah, it's one of my favorites.
North America, May 18th, 2010 for 360. It didn't come out until 2012 for PC.
Sure. Okay, hold on. Okay, so here's what happened. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, because it probably came out May, and then I got it like probably late 2010, early 2011. So yeah, I guess it would be in a bundle at that point. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's just, I definitely recommend picking it up if you have the opportunity to. You can get it on Xbox One backwards compatible, and like Ben said, you can get it on PC. Amazing game, amazing storytelling, fun mechanics in my opinion. They got a little repetitive towards the end, but like what game mechanics don't.
Yeah.
It's a pretty short playthrough. I think you can get through it in
Probably
it's like
10.
Yeah, it's about 10 hours.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, I can run
Yeah.
through it in about 7.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it also would kind of depend on, you know, like
Difficulty.
how completionist and the difficulty
Sure,
you
yeah,
choose
yeah.
and everything. But yeah, first teaser trailer, 2005.
That's a lot of hype for.
Yeah. For a game that by the time it came out wasn't that great looking.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not the most graphically amazing game.
Yeah,
but I feel like
but-
that kind of like helped it in a way.
In 2005, it was. Like
Yeah,
in
that
2005,
looks-
like
that
you
looks
see the
amazing for
volumetric
2005.
lighting and everything, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But then when it doesn't come out for another 5 years, like when I saw that it was coming out, I was like legitimately confused. I was like, wait, that's not out yet? Like,
Yeah.
because I remember seeing the trailers and I was like kind of excited for it, and then it just disappeared, and I assumed like it came out and it was just kind of meh and you know got average reviews, so nobody was really talking about it. But no, it just never came out, and then it did, and then I was like super confused.
Yeah.
So
I was disappointed to hear the reviews for Quantum Break, their second game.
yeah,
I still kind of want to play it, but it also just seems kind of meh.
yeah.
But yeah, the Alan Wake was just so good. And like I'm not a big horror guy, because I usually just like I either don't let myself get into it or I get too invested.
Yeah.
And I got way too invested in it. Like there was a solid like week where all my dreams were Alan Wake related, and it kind of freaked me out. Alan Wake, buy it before it's too late. It's
Yeah.
cheap and it's worth having.
Yeah, like even if you have, you know, kind of an old-ish computer or something, you can probably
Actually, you
buy it
could-
and run it.
You could probably even just buy it used for 360, even
Yeah.
after the.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean they can't really control.
Yeah, and I believe your article did mention that it's not
Oh.
going to like stop being able to be played.
So here's the thing, that Remedy tweeted out yesterday. Alan Wake will be on sale on Steam at a 90% discount starting today and going through the 15th. So buy it on Steam. It's probably stupid cheap.
Let's get a price check on that.
Yeah.
Because I might even do that just so I have it on
Like digitally and everything. Yeah.
on my PC.
Yep.
I love it. I'll give Remedy what looks to be wait for it.
Probably like $5, maybe at most.
90%. I'm guessing it's like $1.
Yeah.
It'll cost you $2.99. You can also get the collector's edition, which I don't know what that is, for $3.50.
Nice.
And you can buy the entire franchise for $4.
Nice.
And I can tell you right now that I don't know if Alan Wake's American Nightmare is worth 50 cents.
All right.
It's not. It doesn't live up to Alan Wake.
to the standard experience.
Yeah,
That's understandable.
like I kind of liked where they were going with it because there's a bit of like a time loop aspect
Yeah.
where you have to go through and like figure out what's going on, and then you have to rewrite certain things. But like it just kind of like felt too cobbled together for the sake of having it cobbled together, as opposed to like a lovingly crafted experience.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, like we
right.
said, if you haven't already, go out, buy Alan Wake, play it. You'll love it. It is
Absolutely worth $3.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it is a technically like a horror game. It's kind of like survival horror-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
So
But it's not.
keep that in
I wouldn't
mind.
say it's that.
Well, I mean,
it's more
I'm just-
thriller. It's a thriller game.
Yeah, sure. Like it's not like, you're going to be dealing with like, zombies and blood and gore and everything.
And there's a couple jump scares, but it's not like a PT demo or anything like that.
Yeah, it's definitely not anything like that. It's like you said, a little more of a thriller type of game. So
God, the
keep
moment
that-
in, like
keep
I
that
don't want to spoil anything, but the moment in the jail, oh, that still gets me every time.
it's been so long since I played it. I
The,
vaguely remember it.
The police chief or the FBI agent is reading the paper.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was one of my top like 5 moments in all of gaming. But yeah. Anyway, let us know if you guys have played Alan Wake. I guess is because we're as YouTube creators, we're supposed to ask you guys to comment and stuff. So
Yeah.
let us know your thoughts on any of the things that we discussed, and if you guys want us to dive in deeper or talk about anything in particular, let us know. As you've seen, Viper the Red has done a fantastic job and has sparked some good conversations, and we want to do that more. So if
Yeah.
anyone who watches this leaves a comment, we'll discuss it. Pretty
Yeah.
much anything.
Well, I mean, for the most part. Obviously, if we get like 500 comments or something, we can't cover everything. But
If we get 500 comments, we'll figure something out.
yeah, we'll figure something. We'll do like a 2-hour stream or something where we just go through them and talk
Yeah.
about them for 5 seconds a piece. But
Let's
yeah,
talk
no,
about
I mean,
something for 5 seconds.
seriously. Yeah, right. Seriously, if you guys watch our podcasts regularly, or any of our content for that matter, be sure to let us know. And if you have any suggestions for improvement or anything like that, feel free to comment, send us a message, tweet at us. We're both on Twitter. I don't think we're very active on Twitter, but I at least check mine every day. I don't.
I
tweet
check
much,
mine.
but
Someone followed me for my Gears tutorial that I just released.
yeah, someone followed me. Someone followed me recently too, and I can't remember who it was.
Was it? I'm gonna give him a shout out because maybe he'll watch this. Shout out to, of course, Twitter takes forever to load now.
Sure.
Shout out to ZX Scorch on Twitter for following me.
ZX Scorch.
He's a quote unquote casual Gears of War player according to his Twitter bio, which is why I assume it was him. All right, and that's going to do it for this podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time on Split Couch Games.
Yeah. Share this with your friends if you enjoy this.
If you
like
have friends.
If you like listening to our voices, share it with your friends and family. Tie them to a chair and make them listen.
Please don't do that. It comes on the news like someone just like
Tying people
is
to
tying people to
chairs.
chairs and subjecting them to Split Couch Games podcast. It's like
And everybody's like, who is this?
we get super famous, so that's cool. Don't do
sure. We'd probably also get sued by at least.
I don't think we can. I mean, you can't get sued for that.
Sure. I mean,
mean-
maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I guess like probably someone would try. I'm sure. Like
Yeah.
there might be like some criminal charges, but I don't know if suing would work. But like, I mean, like,
I mean, I suppose it would
We
depend on how much, if any, harm came to the person.
part of me wants to see what would happen, but like, don't do it.
Yeah, don't.
I just want to be very, very clear, and this is going to be on YouTube. I'm saying no.
Don't.
Ben saying yeah.
people to
Ben saying
chairs.
Ben is saying yes. Ben suggested it, so this is on him. I'm saying no. I'm going to cut out anything of Ben saying no.